So, yeah, Konkankoh. I hope I speak it in the right way.
Like a real barefoot woman.
um, I really would like that you introduce yourself at first.
So, Konkankoh, and coming from Bafoot in Cameroon, the northwest region, and that name, Konkankoh Bafoot, it's a whole story of itself because we grow into our names. The name is for somebody who, for some reason, the gods want him to live because all my brothers died. And then it was a prayer to the gods that I had to live. So I was growing up at that time when the Germans were just defeated in Cameroon. And the territory was split up, and my part of the territory was given to the English. And I grew up knowing something about the Germans in Cameroon. So many stories. I cannot relate all of them. But what I remember is that the people talked so fondly about the Germans. When the Germans were in Cameroon, people hated them because they made them to work. They work really hard. And it's very special I mention this to German people because the relics in Cameroon that remain about German colonization are the pride of the Bafoot people. If you look at the Bafoot Palace, it was German architects who helped the local people. They designed local material, tiles, built of stone, and the oldest grass house in West Africa is still standing in that palace. And this is a combination of technology and indigenous knowledge. Until this place became the Center for Education, it is called a World Heritage Center for Education, which for UNESCO, well, politically, it's not listed, but this is something I need to bring back to the Germans. Because the Germans, when I lived in Germany, I discovered they have something in their soul, like a regret for what they did in Africa. But times have changed. And to realize that the people still cry that if you colonize us in order to build our country, then you have made us to wake up from our slumber and develop. So this is good medicine. And the Germans need to be reminded about this friendship. Yeah. So this is what I grew up with. The Africa is still that place where the Germans came to look for their future because the resources are still there. This is very important that this part of the country that is being persecuted today, called Ambazonia, is the second richest spot in the world after the Congo. So these resources are not in the world in the 21st century to be exploited in the spirit of the Berlin Conference. So system change mean that we have to democratize these systems of development if we are really truly talking about sustainability. So I asked the question to the Germans, what do they mean when they talk about more democracy? Are they talking about to make their comfort zone more democratic for themselves? Or they are looking at the post-pandemic global culture and saying there must be more democracy in the world? It's very important for the spirit of what the Citizens Assembly, what they are talking about. Because the world today calls for a change of mindset. It's about collective consciousness. It's about inclusiveness. It's about participation. I just put in the link an article from Canada. It's talking about the situation of children in the world. Do the Germans care that the chocolates they eat are children's blood in Africa? Is this the kind of relationship that we are building in the 21st century? I say this because children are the future. And the one thing that happens in one part of the world today is affecting the other part of the world. So if this democracy is not linked to system change, then it's a monologue. We are talking to ourselves. As an African who lived in Germany for a while, and I said in my name, in my initiation in the spiritual forest, the elders of the village said, I am being initiated into leadership. At the age of 13, I was already in the elders council. So I learned a secret that I have been defending, but which I need to bring into the world. The elders told me, yes, the white man came with a Bible and a gun and defeated us. But they have one thing that we love about them, and it's their education. So you will grow up and you will go to the white man, but you be careful what you bring back to us. Because they have the gun, they have the Bible, but they also have something that we need. And that thing I discover is technology. So technology can be used to democratize the world and the right education. So the problems that are on the conscience of the Germans are problems that can be corrected very easily today, because they intentionally or unintentionally gave us the wrong education. It was about supremacy. It was about thinking that life is only possible in Europe, whereas all the resources are with us. It was about telling us that we do not have an identity. It was about telling us that our indigenous knowledge was not important. So if we are thinking about community, and this is why I said community, talking about community is the future. And this system still exists. It still exists in Africa. And this is why I think it's sustainable, because with slave trade, with colonization, with imperialism, neo-colonization, and the repartition of Africa today, this has not been destroyed. And Germany still needs it. So I have a little conscience reawakening for France's supremacy over Germany. This is a myth, because in Africa, we know that in terms of development, the Germans did something. We have the Bafut Palace, we have the fort in the Bamenda station that was built with German technology. It's still standing there. And everybody sees Germany. They don't see France. France only exploited and destroyed. So to be standing behind France in the new dispensation for Africa is a mistake for Germany. Germany has the economy. Germany gives the best, the heaviest assistance. And so to go and realign with its old fascist tendencies implemented during the Berlin Conference is losing its history, because Germany has the position to correct history. My ending sentence is a call for action for Germany to re-examine its conscience in the direction they want to take, whether it's about building a sustainable future for the world or to protect its economic assets, knowing fully well that the capitalist system is not the way forward, and that rebuilding its friendship with Africa. I gave a small example of the Bafut people who are reaching out to Germany to re-establish their friendship. It's also a little way of saying that France can build healthier relationships with those colonies that it thought it lost. Those colonies are still reaching out to Germany. I'm one of those people also speaking as somebody who has the blood of Germans initiated into me when I was born and brought up to build a better world. And this is the organization I run. I participated in the German-African friendship, and I think that is the way forward.